Hello and welcome grade 12 maths literacy learners to today's Learn Extra live show. We're joined today with our teacher, as always, our Learn Extra teacher, as well as we've got a guest in studio today, a student that's joining us. James, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good. So what are we learning today?
Well, first of all, you haven't said welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
which
back.
Is rude.
He went on a trip, he told us about it.
Right. So, folks, first of all, it's great to be back in the studio. It feels like I haven't been here for a good month. Well, I suppose I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't.
But, yeah, great to be back in the studio. Great to be doing Maths Lit. And as we always say, if it's Maths Lit time, it means it's Thursday evening, which actually means it's 2:45 Friday. Okay, which is brilliant. Great to have James in the studio again. This is probably one of James's last times he'll be able to be with us in the studio because he's in matric, and as you matrics know, school is coming to a bit of an end very quickly. In fact, I'm quite sad because this is one of our last Thursday night shows. I think we've only got
it's coming to the
two
end,
after this or something, which is kind of sad. Okay. Anything else you want to say, or should I start?
Yeah, guys, before we carry on, all the notes for today's show can be found on our Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/Learn Extra. And on that page, you can also find entry to the Nokia Lumia competition. You can win yourself a Nokia Lumia L, sponsored by Vodacom. And all you have to do is enter the competition. The details as to how to enter that competition can be found on our Facebook page. So guys, remember there's always the Casio calculator that you can win. All you have to do is answer the test yourself question that we will post with your notes today. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. And let's learn some Maths Lit.
Let's do that. All right. Folk, what are we doing today? Well, it's coming closer and closer to that time of the year where you're getting ready for your finals. And so what I thought I would do this lesson is go through some questions that I gave my students in their prelim exam earlier this year. Okay. Now I know that you folk have just written some prelim exams, so we're going to try and get hold of those and go through those in the fourth term, just in one of our episodes there. But today, let's have a look at some of the questions I gave my boys in their prelim exams. Now, James, you should feel comfortable with this. I think James actually averaged around about 92% for these exams, which is not bad.
Pretty good.
I think so, pretty good. Okay, which is excellent because it means he's going to be able to help me answer all these. All right, so this is what we're doing today, prelim exam questions. Before we do that, obviously we're working through various exam type questions, and let's just have a look at our challenge question first of all. Okay, not much of a challenge this week, but let's go for it. In an attempt to raise money for Save the Rhino campaign, 2 classes in your grade decided to sell hot chocolate at your school for 10 days. The box and whisker plot below represent the performance of these 2 classes. And from our diagram here, you can see you've got a Class A and a Class B. All right, so we're giving you a box and whisker chart here. Now, estimate the median number of hot chocolates sold for Class A. Which class sold the most in one day? And Class A sold an average of 81 hot chocolates per day. Determine how many they sold in total after the 10-day period. Now, guys, just before I read this, I said it's not much of a challenge. And it's not much of a challenge because this question came from our paper 1. And you know paper 1, we're just testing basic skills. So if you know your basic skills, this should be quite easy. And I think if students answer these, they stand a chance to win that Casio.
Yeah, they do,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So easy way of trying to win a Casio. Most of you should get this right, and then we take everyone who got these questions correct and dip your name in a hat and pull it out, eh?
Yeah.
So in order to enter, gotta know the answers to this, but you know them already, so it's cool. Right, question number 1 that we're going to look at today. Here we go. Right, James, you're going to do some work today. Let's read it.
Okay. The owner of the post shop?
Post
The
shop
owner of
it
the
is?
post shop, when Nicole usually makes copies of all her documents, asks for her assistance. They are considering renting a photocopier. They approach 2 companies, Company A and Company B, and obtain the following quotations. Company A has a rental of 800 Rand per month, which includes 3,000 free copies per month. Thereafter, a charge of 5 cents per copy applies. Whereas Company B has a rental of 600 Rand per month, which includes 2,500 free copies per month. Thereafter, a charge of 10 cents per copy applies. And the monthly cost in rands of renting a copier.
Okay, so here, let's have a look at that. We want to rent a photocopy machine. So we go to two companies, Company A, Company B, okay? And we say, guys, we wanting one of your machines. What deal can you give us? Company A says, hey, we got a phenomenal deal. We're going to give you, if you pay us 800 Rand a month, we will give you, and I've already forgotten, so just look at that. We will give you 3,000 free copies every single month. So all you got to do is give us 800 Rand. We'll give you 3,000 free copies. But if you make any copies after 3,000, we're going to charge you 5 cents for every copy. Cool? Company B says, hey, you don't have to pay us 800. You only got to pay us 600. Well, we're not going to give you 3,000 copies free. We're only going to give you 2,500 free copies. But be warned, every copy you make after the 2.5, we're going to charge you 10 cents, not 5 cents. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Now here's a table that shows the number of copies made and what Company A and Company B are going to actually charge. Right. So I've got my photocopy machine. I get it from Company A and one from Company B, okay? And I now make a copy, right? Lloyd, Company A, every copy is going to cost me how much?
5 cents.
Cool, right?
Over the 3,000.
Yeah. James, Company B, every copy is going to cost me?
600.
Every
But then
copy.
10 cents.
10
Sorry,
cents.
sorry, my
Okay,
bad.
cool. I just got to say something here, James. Lloyd did not do Mathslit. He did Maths Core.
Yeah.
Okay. You did Mathslit.
And
right.
cool.
So now what we're actually going to look at is we're actually going to have a bit of a competition here in studio between Mathslit and Maths Core.
Yeah, he's always pulling my chain at my maths core.
Okay. Yeah. And like the 1 week, he was actually quite sad.
Yeah.
Alright, so, okay. So Maths Core, you can't let me down, boy. Right. So here we go. So now make one copy. Company A, right? How much am I going to pay that company at the end of the month?
800 Rand.
800 Rand, absolutely. Am I not being charged for the one copy?
No,
Why not, Lloyd?
because you have 3,000 free copies.
Absolutely. Company B, I make one copy. How much is going to charge me?
600 Rand.
Absolutely, 600 Rand. Why are they not charging me for the one copy?
Because you have 2,500.
Absolutely, free, hey?
Free.
Okay, so that's great, and you can see that on the table behind me. One copy, Company A is 800 Rand, Company B is 600 Rand. Now make 2,000 copies. Company A is going to charge me what?
800 Rand.
That's because you can read the answer behind my back, hey?
Yeah,
Okay,
that might be the reason.
right, that's probably the reason. Right, Company B, how much are they going to charge me?
600 Rand.
600, all right? And that's not because you read, that's because
No,
you
it's
know.
because I'm pretty smart.
That's right, you're pretty smart. Okay, more smart than pretty, but that's another thing. Okay, now we make 2,500 copies. How much is Company A going to charge me?
Still 800 Rand.
Why?
Because you have a limit of 3,000 free copies.
Okay, Company B, 2,500 copies. How much are they going to charge me?
600 Rand.
600 Rand. Why?
Because they only give you 2,500 and you haven't gone over that.
Absolutely, you haven't gone over. So they said, we will give you 2,500 free copies, but if I make 2,500 copies, they're all free. Soon as I start making, how many am I going to be charged extra?
10 cents a copy.
5 cents a copy.
No, but
Yours
Yeah,
is
but
10
it's 10
cents.
cents a
Okay.
copy.
For how many copies?
for one copy.
For one copy. Okay. So here, what's my value of P going to be? You've already told me it's going to be 600 Rand. Brilliant. Okay. Let's have a look at 4,000 copies. Right. 4,000 copies. How many copies am I going to be charged for Company A, Lloyd?
You mean how much per copy?
No, well, we know it's 5 cents a copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know that. So 5 cents a copy. I'm making 4,000 copies. How many copies are they going to charge me for?
1,000.
Excellent. Why?
Because they're giving us 3,000 free copies.
Absolutely. In fact, that's important, and that's a concept a lot of matrics don't quite get. So if I'm getting 3,000 free and I make 4,000 copies, those first 3,000 I'm still getting free. So I'm only going to pay for 1,000 copies. And how much am I paying per copy?
5 cents.
5 cents. So 5 cents times 1,000. Should we use a calculator?
No.
Do you
Yes.
know this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, use a
No,
calculator.
tell us. Do you know this?
Yeah, so it'll be 500 rand.
500 rand, he says. Okay, let's just check
no.
them quickly.
No, 5.
So we got 0.05, and we're going to be charged for 1,000 copies. Right, equals, and we get 50 rand.
50 rand.
Okay.
50 rand.
All right, so Matt's Corv just blundered.
Yeah.
It's quite embarrassing. Okay.
Well-
So Lloyd says confidently 500. Now, this goes to show what I always preach to you guys every single week that I'm on. And I say this. Even if you think you know the answer, guys, use your calculator. Why? Because it's so easy to make careless mistakes. And when you're writing your first exam, well, it's like being on live TV. You're nervous. And so you make silly, stupid, careless mistakes. So someone says to you, I got 5 cents, multiply it by 1,000, you shout out boldly, 500, you write it down and you get it wrong in the exam. Okay? Use that calculator wherever possible. So we know it's 50 rand. Is that how much we're going to charge them in total?
No,
No, why not?
because it's above the 800 rand a
You
month.
still got to pay that 800 rand rental every month. So let's do that. So we're going to say plus 800 rand. Now I know we didn't need to use our calculator because you should have got it, but we're going to do it anyway just in case we make a careless mistake. And we get an answer of
850 rand.
850 rand. So Q is going to be, oops, this pen's doing funny things, 850 rand. Okay. Guys, let's quickly just discuss this. We've got the answers there, but let's discuss this. 8,000 copies. Company A, we're going to get how many free?
3,000.
How many we're going to pay for?
Anything over 3,000
So-
is 5 cents per copy.
Okay, and if we print 8,000 copies, we're going to pay for?
1,000.
5,000 copies.
5,000.
Oh yeah, we're only going to pay.
Okay, cool. All right. Math's cool. Okay, now, so we've got 5,000 copies, and we're paying 5 cents for each of those 5,000 plus the 800 rand, and we're going to land up paying 1,050 rand. With our company B, James, we are going to pay, we've got 8,000 copies. How many are we going to pay for?
5,500.
Okay, how did we get that?
Well, 8,000 minus 2,000 minus
brilliant.
500.
Okay. 8,000 minus 2,500.
500.
So we're now going to pay for the 5,500
5,500
copies. At how much a copy?
10 cents a copy.
10 cents a copy. Once we've worked that out, we then add the
The 600 rand.
600 rand that we're renting it, and that's going to give me my 1,150 rand. Okay, question 1, determine the missing values of P and Q. We've done it, and we did it well. Well, the maths lit guy did. That's cool. Okay, now, next question says this. I don't know what it says. It's gone away. Okay, here we are. The line graph below illustrates the total rental for Company B. Okay? On the graph, draw the same set of axes for the graph to illustrate the total rental payments for Company A. Okay, before we even look at Company A, let's discuss Company B. You will see that Company B starts at how much? James?
It starts at 600
600.
rand.
Why?
Because that's the flat rate you have to pay for the free copies.
Now I've got a straight line here. I don't know. Can we see this line on your TV screen? Is the producer talking to me? I hope we can. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we can see the orange one. Right, so there it is there. And we can see that's a straight line. Why is that a straight horizontal line?
Because you're paying 600 rand for 2,500 copies.
Okay, up to
And
2,500.
then thereafter.
So if I make 500 copies, guys, I'm still paying 600. If I make 1,500, I'm still paying 600. Up to 2,500. Now I want to ask you, James, why is this line, this part of the graph, why is that a straight line?
Because it's 10 cents per copy, so it's a flat rate. So
Absolutely.
there's never ever a jump. between
Whenever I
those.
see a straight line, what word jumps to mind?
Constant rate.
Absolutely. Constant cost. You see, that's why this oak's getting like 92%. All right. So when I see a straight line means consistency. And what's consistent in this case? The fact that every copy is 10 cents. I'm not paying 10 cents for one copy and 15 cents for another and 45 cents for... It's 10 cents per copy. So I'm expecting a straight line. And that's exactly what I've got here. Right? Now, we're going to draw the graph for B, and we're going to draw it quickly, and then we're going to take an ad break. let's ask our maths though. Lloyd, where am I going to start the graph for company A?
You're going to start the graph at 800 Rand.
Okay, cool. At 800 Rand. Why at 800 Rand?
Because that's their flat rate for 3,000 copies.
Cool. And it's going to stay like that, isn't it? For how long?
For 3,000 copies.
For 3,000 copies. So up to 3,000, there it is. I'm now going to have, oops, I've gone wrong. I'm now going to have that straight line. Okay? Then I'm going to start going up. Would you agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And at 8,000 copies, when we go back, we will see that 8,000 copies for Company A cost me 1,050 Rand. Okay. So 1,050 Rand is somewhere over here. 1,050 over there somewhere. Right? What am I now going to do? Connect them with what?
With a straight line.
Straight line. Why straight line?
Because it's a constant rate.
Absolutely, James. So I'm going to draw a straight line, and there's my straight line. And with a bit of imagination, you can see that's a straight line. I don't have a ruler with me. Guys, you out there have a ruler. And let me just tell you something, eh? As an a matric examiner and a matric marker, rather, I get extremely annoyed when I come across some work and someone hasn't used a ruler. Then you deserve to lose a mark. Because you're now writing matric, and when you write matric, the least you need to take into an exam is a ruler. And I want my graph to be accurate. So I'm going to use a ruler because I could ask you questions on the graph, which we have got over here. Have we got time just to do 2 questions? So simple, let's do it. Okay.
I think let's just take a quick ad break.
No, my producer said in my ear we can do
is
it.
it?
Okay,
Okay.
he's the big boss. You just a
Yeah.
maths guy. Okay, so here we go. Indicate with the letter A on the graph where the costs of both companies will be the same. Now, where will they be the same? Where they?
Where they meet.
Where they meet.
What's
Absolutely.
that point called again?
Where they cross. Point of intersection.
Ah, that's the one.
Okay. So that, and we're going to call that A. Why? Because the question says, call it A. So we've done that. Then very quickly as well, the post shop makes an average of 7,000 copies per month. Using the graph, determine which company would be best for post shop. Company A or Company B. How are we going to do that? We're going to say 7,000. Let's draw a little line here. Oops, gone wrong. Okay. Which company would I choose? Company A or Company B?
Company A.
Okay, because why?
Because it's less
lower.
money.
Yeah, it's less money, absolutely. The graph is lower than the other graph. Okay. All right, Lloyd, now it's your time of glory.
Okay, cool, guys. I think it's time to take a break. It's been quite a busy first little section of the show, but don't go anywhere. Get a glass of water, get something to drink, chill out a bit, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Matric Maths Literacy. I'll get it right. It's the maths score. Yeah. Anyway, guys, maths literacy learners. Remember, guys, you can win yourself this Casio calculator. All you have to do is answer the test yourself question on our Facebook page, and also we're giving away 4 new Lumia L cell phones. All you have to do is get over onto our Facebook page, and Sony Xperia L cell phones. And all you have to do is get over to our Facebook page, and all the details as to how to enter will be on that page. Guys, we have a message here from Bongani Malukleke, and he says, please tell Peter that my learners at Sekwahlane Secondary School are enjoying him on my DVD. Let him keep it up with the coolest jokes. It looks like you got some fan base going on there.
Okay, that's kind of cool. The only sad thing is, I'm not joking. He really doesn't understand things. Okay. All right, well, that's great. And tell your students out there to start answering our questions. And who knows, one of them might get our calculator, which is absolutely brilliant. Okay, shall we carry on?
Yeah.
Right, James, do your thing. Read the next question.
Nicole borrowed 250,000 Rand from the bank and planned to pay it back over 20 years by making regular monthly payments. The graph shows that the payment history. Use the graph to answer the questions.
Okay, absolutely. So, we've got this girl called Nicole. Now, I want to just say something to you, Lloyd. You weren't here on this program, but in one of our programs, I used the name Kirsten. And this guy here is dating someone called Kirsten. And he just flummoxed. He couldn't answer any of my questions. So whatever you do, don't mention the name Kirsten.
Well, it's a little late now. He's going to get
Yeah.
Okay, well, we pretend we won't do it.
We've planted the seed now.
We planted the
Yeah.
seed. All right, so the question says now, we got this girl called Kirsten, and Nicole, and she borrows some money from the bank. She borrows 250,000 Rand from the bank. Okay, and she goes, and this picture here, or this whole illustration, shows us what is actually happening. So I'm borrowing 250,000, and you'll see that this is where the graph actually starts. Okay, so at 250,000, let me just get a nice color pen here. If we can get a pen, I'm sure we can get a pen. No, we can't get a pen. We'll try and get a pen. Are we going to get a pen? We got a pen. Okay, so here we go. Right, so at 250,000, and I'm really battling with this one at the moment.
I think that's 1 point to the maths call, guys.
I think so. Hey, maths, look. Oh, no, there it is. Hey, don't mock
okay,
things.
yeah.
Okay,
So
just a second. All right, so 250,000 is what she borrows. Now, here we can see we've got a whole lot of numbers on my left-hand side, and we got some other numbers at the bottom of the graph. All right. So, what do you think, James, the numbers on my vertical axis represents?
That's the money.
That's the money. How
in
do you know
rands. Because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's talking about
How it happens.
250,000 Rand that she's borrowed.
Yeah.
And you can see that we've got an amount up to 250,000. What would these numbers here then represent?
Those will be the number of months.
The number of months,
Yeah.
absolutely. How do you know it's not the other way around?
Because there's not 250,000 months in
In a
20
lifetime.
years or in a lifetime.
Yeah, well,
yes.
absolutely. Okay. If you're going to live for 250,000 months, sheesh, that's quite a lot. How many
Yeah.
years is that?
Jeez.
You divide it by 12, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do that on your calculator. Let's do that, okay? So we say if we had 250,000 months to live, and we divide that now by 12 months, it means that we could live to the ripe old age of 20,833 years. Which is quite impressive, okay? I
That's
don't
pretty
know how
cool.
stable you'd be on your legs, but
Yeah.
nevertheless. Okay, so we're not going to live for 20,833 years. Instead, we could live for 240 months, which is how many years there?
20.
20 years. And we normally take out a bond for about 240 months or 20 years. Okay, so we've now said that this represents the amount of money in rands. Do I have to say in rands, Lloyd?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Why, Lloyd?
Because it could be dollars. it
Could be dollars, could be anything. Okay. Why would you say in rands?
Because it could be dollars, it could be... it's just the way it is.
It was a good answer.
It was a good answer, clearly, because he's copying. All right. But I've got to say in rands because it actually doesn't tell me what the unit is. If I had an R in front of all these numbers, then I could say the amount of money, full stop. Because you know it's in rands because it would have given you R. In this case, it didn't, so you've got to say in rands. You've got to tell the examiner, hey, I'm bright, I know what it is. Okay? And at the bottom, we said that was going to be the number of months.
Months.
Okay, cool. Now, let's have a look at our first question. So I'm not even looking at the question yet, hey? We're just looking at the graph. Let's look at this thing here. We've got two lines on our graph. We've got this wonderful solid line, and then we've got a dotted line. And the solid line represents the planned payments, and the dotted line represents the actual payments. Okay? So what does that mean? Well, let's look at our first question. Our first question says this. Give a suitable label for the vertical axis, and the next one says, give a suitable label for the horizontal axis. Now, guys, that's kind of exciting stuff, because we've already done it, okay? We've already given a label for the vertical axis and the horizontal axis, the vertical and horizontal, right? And that's what we did just at looking at our diagram. That's what I always say to you. Whenever you answer a question in an exam, just look at the data that's given to you. Try and analyze what you're looking at before you even look at the question, because the chances are you would have answered that question in your mind before you even read what the examiner was asking you. Okay, so we've done that. Let's look at the next one. It says here, after 60 months, Nicole paid a lump sum into her loan account. What was this lump sum of money that she paid in? So here we go. We go to the bank, we say we're going to borrow 250,000. They come along and they say, well, this is what you actually going to pay back. Okay, that's how your repayment's going to work. After 60 months, you put a lump sum of money into the bank. Okay, so you got a little bit of extra money, and instead of giving it to me, you stupidly go and put it into the bank. All right, and you give it to the bank, and suddenly now the whole repayments reduce. How much money have they put into the bank, James? How much did they owe when they put the... Do you agree this is the amount they're putting into the bank?
I'm just trying to work out the...
Okay, well, let's just have a look at this
I can't really see it from here.
Over here is when I now... Because it's 60 months.
Yeah.
How much did I still owe the bank at that stage?
That's what I'm trying to work out.
Is that what you're trying to work out?
Yeah, I can't see.
Okay, you can't see.
Oh, is it the second line down from the top?
Yeah, it's the first line down. Sorry.
Oh, first line.
Okay.
250.
Yeah, shame. His eyes don't work. Okay, now, so we've got a maths guy here, his eyes don't work properly, and we've got a core guy here whose brain doesn't work properly. So together feel sorry for me in the studio. You really do. I'm the only one who's normal here. Okay, so looking at that, what's that going to be?
As I said, I don't know.
No, you can't see. Okay, first of all, let me ask you this, James. Up to years 50,000.
Yeah.
Okay, how many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to get to 50,000. So how much does each line represent? 50,000 divided by
5.
Which is going to be 50,000 divided by 5? About 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Yeah, no, of course. All right, so every line represents 10,000. So if I go 200,000 here, I'm going to get 210, 20, 30,
240,000.
So at this stage, I owe the bank 240,000 rand. I now put money in the bank. Vote. And as I put the money in the bank, the amount I owe them drops instantly. And it drops all the way down to this figure over here, which is 110,000 rand.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you that because you can't see this very clearly. I hope it's coming out nicely on your TV screen. Okay, so we've got 110,000 rand at that point. So I started owing them 240. I paid an amount, and I now only owe them 110. So how much did I pay the bank?
Well, 240 minus 110.
Brilliant. Minus 110,000. Okay. And out comes our calculator, because as we learned earlier, people tend to make mistakes without the use of a calculator.
So well for me, yeah.
Okay, it gets embarrassing. So what we're doing now is let's use our calculator. We've said we had 240,000 rand. Once we pay money in, we actually only owe 110,000. So we paid off 130,000 rand. So this amount here represents 130,000 rand. Now guys, if I now have paid the bank a whack of money, and I only owe them a lot, or I owe them a lot less than what I originally did, but I keep paying the same amount every month, I'm going to pay that bond off or that amount loan off a lot quicker. Okay. How much quicker? Well, let's have a look. What would you estimate that to be? About halfway?
Yeah, 150.
Okay. So what's halfway between 120 and 180? Roundabout?
150.
About 150. So how would you have got that?
Well, 180 minus 120 gives you 60, so that's the difference. And then half of that, which is 30. So 120 plus 30 equals 150.
Okay, and that would be the maths cool way of doing it. Very involved.
Yeah,
no one understands.
I don't know what.
Well, no, you don't know what he does. Do you? Just like over the top. Well, how would you have done it? Said 120 plus 180 divided by 2.
Yep, that's the way.
That's the way you would have
what I
done
would
it.
have said.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah.
We stand united, James. Okay.
What you say?
Well,
we don't stand. All right, so let's move on now. Next question, if there is another one. After 6, what was the lump of money she paid in? We've done. Having paid this lump of money, how many months would it now take? Well, we've just answered our own question as well. All right, let's have a look at our next question. And we've got plenty of time before the next ad break, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this off. Right, James, go for it.
On one particular job, Devon, who currently lives in Graaff-Reinet, has to travel to Maatjiesfontein. With the use of one of the strip mat found on Annexure C, answer the following questions with regards to his trip. 3.1 says, how far is Maintjiesfontein from Graaff-Reinet?
Okay, so we're going to look at this very carefully now. So here we have a guy called Devon, okay? And this question comes out of another question. So that's why it says on one particular job. Because in this exam question that I gave, we spoke about this guy called Devon, all right? So we now get to a question where we're saying, right, Devon lives in a little town called Graaff-Reinet, right? And he now has a job, and the job is taking him to another little town called Maintjiesfontein. Yes, it's true. There is a place in South Africa called Maintjiesfontein. Okay, and I will show you on the map as well. All right. So, do you know where Maintjiesfontein is?
No, I don't.
No. Do you know where-
Karoo.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we've got Graaff-Reinet and we've got Maintjiesfontein. So now what we want to do is we are going to look at a strip map. Now remember, guys, when we did this whole section on maps, you'll remember we looked at something called a national road map, James, which showed
All the national roads, like
Absolutely.
the N1, the N3.
Absolutely, and like the N1 starts in Cape Town, goes all the way through Johannesburg and ends in a little town called Polokwane.
Polokwane.
And even through there, hey, it goes to a place called Beitbridge.
Yeah, by bridge, yeah.
Yeah, you know that place, huh? Yeah, okay, on the border there. Right, so it goes right across South Africa. And then we get another one called the N2, which starts in Cape Town and works along the coast and goes to Durbs. And even further, up to Richards Bay, and nogal further than that as well. And then we get the N3, and the N3 starts in?
Joburg.
Well, yeah, and goes all the way down to
Durban.
To Durban, absolutely. So we got all these national maps. Then after a national road map, we get something called a strip map. And a strip map shows just the
road
information we need, just the roads from one town to another. Now, sometimes you cannot get both towns on one strip map. So you've got to get two strip maps. Look what I mean. So here now, I'll just push you with a push of a button. Let's have a look at this. Here I have a strip map, and it's showing the route from Beaufort West to Port Elizabeth. And you can see that over here we have Beaufort West and all the way down to Port, or East London rather, okay? All the way down through to East London. Now on that strip map, there is a place called
Maintjiesfontein.
Graaff-Reinet. Graaff-Reinet rather, okay?
There.
Here it is here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Graaff-Reinet. Now when I look at this map, I'm now going to also try and find a place called Maintjiesfontein. Right? So let's do that. So when we look on this map, we go. Did you see it, James?
No,
No,
not
not
really.
at all. Okay, why not?
Because it's probably on the other strip map.
Okay, because not only did I go very quickly, but even if I'd gone very slowly and we'd used the rest of these 5 minutes before the next ad break, scounging through every town, you wouldn't have found it because it's not on here. But now look here. There's another strip map that I've got, and it's showing Beaufort West to Cape Town. Now here's Beaufort West again, and it goes all the way down to Cape Town, right? And here is Cape Town.
There's Monkeys.
Way down here. Okay. Now in the strip map, did you manage to see Maintjiesfontein?
Yes.
Where was it?
Just a bit up.
Bit up, bit up.
Right there.
And
Just above the western sign.
right over here, hey?
Right there.
Maintjiesfontein. All right. Is that how, are we pronouncing this right, eh?
Yeah,
Maintjiesfontein. If you live in Maintjiesfontein, I apologize for that. No. If you live in Maintjiesfontein, just let us know if we're pronouncing this right,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah.
Okay, Maintjiesfontein.
I'd love to know if we had viewers in Maintjiesfontein.
It'd be interesting to know if we got viewers. We must have some views, because we've got views from all over South Africa. In fact, I heard the other day, even from Southern Africa.
Is it
which is
even a
quite
place?
impressive. It is, man. There it is. Maintjiesfontein. It is a place. It's a little town. All right. Shame. It's cute. Okay. So there's our little town. Now here's the problem, guys. We've been asked to find the distance from Graaff-Reinet all the way to Maintjiesfontein. Now, those towns are so far apart that we can't find it on one strip map. So we need two strip maps. When we use two strip maps, we have to find one common place on both those strip maps. Now, let's have a look at the second strip map. Do you notice that this strip has a place called
Beaufort
West? As I go up, I get another strip map, which has a place called
Beaufort West.
Beaufort West. What's my common denominator here?
Beaufort West.
Beaufort West. Now, when I look at the strip map, I see a whole lot of figures on the side. And these grey figures tell me this, that to go from Beaufort West all the way to Graaf-Reinet is how many kilometers, James?
206.
206 kilometers, absolutely. And that's if I'm traveling, kilometers. That's if I'm traveling from Beaufort West to Graaf-Reinet. If I go from Graaf-Reinet though, James, and I now go the other way to Beaufort West, how many kilometers will it be?
Still 206.
Absolutely, eh? If I go this way, 1, 2, 3, close to the camera, hello, I've taken 3 steps. If I go this way, 1, 2, 3, I've still taken 3 steps. So from where I am to where the camera is 3 steps. From the camera to where I am is still 3 steps. So if I'm telling you that from Beaufort West to Graaf-Reinet is 206 kilometers, from Graaf-Reinet to Beaufort West is 206 kilometers. Let's go look at our next scale now. Now we find Beaufort West over here. Now I ask you with tears in my eyes. Woo, got to go all the way down. How far is Beaufort West? Okay, and we're following these grey markers all the way down to Matjiesfontein.
226 kilometers.
226 kilometers. So from Graaf-Reinet to Beaufort West, if I can draw it like, say it like this, let's pretend you're Graaf-Reinet. Okay, and I'm Beaufort West. And you're Matjiesfontein. Okay. All right. So from Graaf-Reinet to Beaufort West is 206 kilometers. From Beaufort West to Matjiesfontein is
226.
226 kilometers. Cool. So how far are you two apart?
You add those
You
together.
add those up. Would you agree on that? Yeah. So it's 206 plus the 226. Guys, do you understand how we're using 2 different maps to try and find out one bit of information? Okay, got to practice that. You really do. Go across to a website. Okay, go to Google and type in strip maps in South Africa, and they will give you some. And click on images, and you will get a whole lot of strip maps on there. Or even better, go to the AA website. Now, don't get happy. I'm not talking about the Alcohol Anonymous. I'm talking about the Automobile Association. Okay? So go to the AA website, Automobile Association, and there you'll find a whole lot of strip maps. In fact, these ones behind me come from that very thing.
Yeah,
Are we
it
allowed
says
to
AA.
advertise Automobile? I don't know. But anyway, it
says
says
it
here
there.
that it came from there. Okay. Because we've got to give references.
It says
All
it
right.
there.
So there it is over there. And we've now worked out that the total distance is going to be the 226 plus, what was it? 206.
6.
Okay. So when we add up and
234, I think it is.
oops, what have I done here? Okay. Yeah, there we go. When we add up, Lloyd, how do we add up?
We go 206
With a calculator, Lloyd? Agreed.
Oh.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 206 plus 226. And Lloyd, we get an answer of?
432.
432 kilometers. Okay. All right. Now, let's go back to our questions. Here we go. So, how far is Matjiesfontein from Graaf-Reinet? We've answered that. Sure, it took us quite a while to answer it. Okay. So, yeah, folk, we did spend a lot of time going over that question, but I did it deliberately. Okay, for 2 reasons. Number 1, because it's important that you know how to work with strip maps. And number 2, I didn't have much help in the studio at all. All right, so next question says this.
Okay, hold on. Before we go to the next question, let's take a quick break. Guys, so as you guys can see on our Facebook page is all the notes for today's show. So if you're missing out on these notes, all you have to do is get onto our Facebook page and they should be there. But don't go away. We'll be back right after the break. Welcome back, Mindsetters, to today's grade 12 maths literacy lesson. If you guys missed it so far, we're in the studio with James, our guest, and yeah.
And Peter, the teacher.
And Peter, the
forgot my
teacher.
name.
No,
You forgot my name.
we're having a kind of a hate-love relationship here in the studio. So, guys, before we carry on, there is a winner for last week's Casio calculator, and that is Rector Kapana. Well done, Rector. You've just won yourself this brand new Casio calculator. And for you guys out there that haven't won a calculator yet, all you have to do is get onto our Facebook page, answer the test yourself question, and you could be the next guy to win it. So, guys, before we went away, we were talking about traveling on the west coast.
Are
there.
we going to do the other draw towards the end? Or
Yeah.
no?
So
Okay.
yeah, guys, at the end of the show, we're going to be doing a draw for the brand new Xperia phone. Thanks to Vodacom, who sponsored the competition, and we'll be giving away that Sony Xperia L, the third one we'll be giving away at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Let's continue.
Okay, cool. So, guys, just before the break, we came across a guy called Devin, and he lived in Graafrenet, and he had a business trip to do, and he had to get all the way to a place called Fontaine, which, yes, James, is a place. Okay, so now we worked out that the distance he had to travel was 432 kilometers. Let's have a look at our next question. Our next question says this. If Devin's vehicle can only travel 6,75 kilometers on 1 liter of petrol, due to the fact that the engine does not run well, show that he will need to stop en route to fill up with petrol if the petrol tank has a capacity of 55 liters. Okay, so Devin has a car. Now, guys, normally we would like to believe that your car can do at least round about 9 minimum kilometers to every liter. So for every liter I put in my car, I can travel 9 kilometers, okay? It'd be kind of cool if it's around about 12, 13, 14 kilometers. In fact, the new cars that work on both electrical power and petrol
the
can get up
hybrids,
to, yeah, you're not allowed to say that on air, we can't advertise. Okay, but the hybrids now, they travel around about, about 25 kilometers to a liter, somewhere around there, which is really cool. Okay, in fact, guys, I just heard, I know I'm deviating here, but I enjoy doing this. I just heard that the other day they had a car that traveled on electricity. From Durban to Joburg, it only cost like R4.10. That's incredible. But then it cost another 43 million in electrical cords. But that, okay, all right. Right. That was funny, Lloyd.
I was laughing.
Okay, cool. All right. So now, when we look at this, we realize Devon's car's got a problem. It can only travel 6,75 kilometers on 1 liter of petrol. Okay. We want to know, if his petrol tank has a capacity of 55 liters, will he be able to make it from Graafrenet all the way to Fontaine? Right, first thing, we need to know how far his car can travel on a full tank of petrol. Agreed? How are we going to do that, James?
Well, you're going to say 55.
Okay, so we got 55 liters. Cool.
Yeah. Times by 6,75 kilometers.
Okay, why are we doing that?
Because it's 6,675 kilometers for 1 liter. So you want to see how much is 55 liters.
Excellent. So if 1 liter does 6,75 kilometers, 55 liters is going to be 55 times 6,75. And obviously Lloyd knows from harsh experience, so we use our calculator to do this. So we are now going to say, right, I've got what did we say?
75, yeah.
Multiply that now by 55, and we get an answer of
371,25 kilometers.
So 371,25 kilometers is the distance that I can travel with my car, or that Devin can travel with his car. Right. But how far is Fontaine from where? Graafrenet.
No, from Beaufort. Yeah, from
Yeah, from
Graafrenet.
Graafrenet. How far is it? We worked it out.
220.
432
oh, but that was
kilometers.
from Beaufort West.
Agreed?
Yeah, no.
Is he going to make it?
No, he won't
No,
make
he's not
it.
going to make it because he needs to get
32
kilometers, and he can only get 371,25 kilometers. This guy has a problem. Okay, he's going to have to stop at some stage and fill up with petrol. Here's an interesting thing, guys. What's the cost of petrol in South Africa? You should know. You got a car.
13 rand.
About 30, just under 14
yeah,
rand, hey, isn't it? Round about there. Do you know what the cost of petrol is in the States?
Probably $3 a gallon.
Yeah, it's $3.33 a gallon at the moment. It's just come down one. And it actually equates to around about 8 rand 80 per litre.
That's cheap.
That's cheap, eh?
Cheap
And they
is-
are moaning there, saying, yeah, our price of petrol is crazy. And I'm like, hey, let's go for another drive. Okay, all right. So now my next question is this. Where would you suggest that Devon stops to fill up with petrol? Now, here's a question. Devon can travel 370 kilometers or 71 kilometers, and then he runs dry. Right. Would you suggest, Lloyd, that at 371, he stops now and looks for a petrol station?
No,
No, why not?
because the next petrol station could be 10 k's away and you would have run out of fuel by.
Absolutely, hey? So the next petrol station could be another 10 kilometers away. Would you stop at 360 kilometers and now fill up with petrol?
No,
Why not?
because you still don't know how far the next petrol station away.
Okay.
Well, if you did, then yeah.
Well, this 371 kilometers that Devon can do, in theory, we've worked it out to be 371. But it doesn't mean that it's always going to work out like that. He might get much less mileage. Why?
Because he could be going faster.
Absolutely. He could have his foot down flat, vroom, and be going like one ing of a speed, and the car's just swallowing petrol. Why else could he use more petrol?
Because of traffic or...
All right, lots of traffic, lot of stop, start. And when you, every time you start accelerating, you've got to move. This whole vehicle's got to start moving forward. So it takes more petrol to get a vehicle started than to keep a vehicle running. Agreed?
True.
Okay, because momentum is helping with that. So you kind of don't have to push as much petrol. Except my mother-in-law, she always just hits the petrol. Okay, so... we're not sure if our car is going to cover 371. So one's got to be careful. In fact, I have a philosophy. When I get quarter of tank, boy, look for a petrol station. Okay? Not like my wife. She takes it as a challenge to try and see how low she can get that needle below the red mark before I have a heart attack. All right, so where would you suggest she stops? So let's have a look now at our maps, or he stops. Right, so here we go. The first thing he's going to do is from Graafrenet, eh?
Yeah.
From Graafrenet to Beaufort West. So he's traveling along. We said that this distance was around about 206 kilometers. We also said that the distance from Beaufort West to
Mikey's
Fontaine over there is round about 226 kilometers. Okay. When you look at Beaufort West as well, guys, you will see that on Beaufort West there's a little huge petrol station, Star Shop. Okay. You know these huge petrol stations along these N1 route kind of thing. That might not be a bad place to stop. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Round about halfway.
Round about halfway. You've got 370 kilometers, you travel 206, you've got a good 170 odd left in your tank. Why not? You don't have to wait until you run dry before you fill in with petrol. Okay? So Beaufort West is a perfectly good answer. It doesn't have to be. You could say, you know what, I'm going past Beaufort West, and I'm going to try, because that's up to 206 kilometers. If I now keep going, all right, at Beaufort West, and we're heading all the way to Fontaine. So we're following the N1 all the way. There we go. And we're going to go a little bit higher up to Beaufort West. You could actually say, you know what, we got 206 kilometers up to Beaufort West. From Beaufort West to this place called Leeugamka. Gumka? Have you heard of this place?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, you have. Okay. Leeugamka is 75 kilometers. If I add 75 kilometers here, I'm going to get 281 kilometers. There's nothing to stop you from stopping there. You can stop there. Okay? And that's the beauty about this kind of question, is that there's no one definite answer. There are several answers you could do. But if you kept going and you got to Laingsburg, right? Up to here, we said we've got 281 kilometers. From Leeugamka, okay?
That's called Liam.
We'll call it Leo.
Liam.
L-E-E-U.
Liu. Sounds
like
good.
a lion. All right. Up to Monksfontein is 151. Can I stop at Laingsburg?
No.
No, because now we're going to have a problem, hey? And our problem is going to be, we would have hit 432 kilometers already, and that's going to be problematic. Would you agree on that? In fact, not even, sorry, that's up to there. There it would be a little bit less. You'd add 30 plus 85, which is, what's that, 115, okay? So 115, that's going to give me 396 kilometers, way too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we clear on this?
Yeah.
Are we happy? Cool. Okay. I'm just going to see what our next question is. Here we go. Determine the approximate time to the closest half hour the trip will take Devon if he travels at an average speed of 95 kilometers per hour. Okay, guys, before I do this, we're down to about 3 minutes. I think maybe what we should do is do the draw, and then I'll try and quickly do the other question. What's that called? The challenge question. And then we might be able to wrap up.
Okay, guys,
Do you
so
agree?
we are going to do the draw now live on the show for that Sony Xperia L that's up for grabs. It's the third one we're giving away. And remember, we are giving away 4, so the next one we give away will be at the end of next term, or the 4th term. And remember, guys, that's not all you can win. You can also win 60, 55 Rand vouchers are up for grabs as well. So get your entries in, go onto our Facebook page. All the ways to enter on our Facebook page. So without further ado, let's. I'm going to give this to you, and maybe James, our guest in studio, can draw one out and read out the name.
Cool, man.
Okay. Do you want to draw?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stand here by you so everyone can see this is fair and above board. All right. You drawn one?
Yeah.
Okay. And the name is Peter Tim. I won. No, I'm joking. All right. Read that. Okay.
It is Reynold Kamoto.
Well done,
So
Reynold
well done.
Kamoto. You have won yourself a brand new Sony Xperia L. I mean, wow, guys. I mean, I'd like to win a new
I
cell phone.
would
Yeah.
too, eh?
I mean, all you guys have to do is get onto our Facebook page and click a few buttons, and it could be you guys. So
Absolutely.
So
I
guys-
mean, James said he needed a new phone because his never rings, but the poor guy doesn't realize that no one wants to phone him. Okay, so your phone is fine, pal. It's just that no one likes you. Okay, should we now get on with our challenge question?
Yeah,
Because we're
guys,
down
let's-
to about 1 minute.
let's
All
finish
right,
it up.
so here we go. In fact, I don't even think we're going to get this done. But in an attempt to raise money, 2 classes start selling hot chocolate, right? The Class A, Class B. Now, let's just, in fact, I'm not going to look at the questions because we don't have time, but let's look at this. What does this value here represent?
That represents the least amount of hot chocolate sold.
Absolutely. The least amount of hot chocolates that Class B sold, which is
72.
72. What does this represent?
That's the most amount of hot chocolates that the class sold.
Okay, which is 93.
93.
So on a day, the least they sold per day was 92. The most they sold was 93. What does this tell you, James?
That is the median.
Median. Okay,
Yeah.
which means if I take all the number of hot chocolates that were sold per day and put them in order from the lowest to the highest, the middle number will be
80.
absolutely. How much percent is this is called my
Your quartile.
lower
First
quartile and
higher
upper
quartile.
quartile? What percentage lies here?
25, 25.
50%,
50%,
absolutely.
basically.
Guys, fantastic. James, I want to thank you for being helped this year.
Thank
okay,
you, sir.
we've run out of time. Lloyd,
guys, I'm sure you could say the same, but this has been an awesome lesson. Thank you very much for teaching us again. Guys, so that's all for today. Remember to tune in next week. It's all up to you guys. Tune in and keep learning.